Most of our cages go together by making a U shape, and normally we'd have a side and a front and another side here, but in your case there's not going to be another side here because this cage is going to be twice as long. There's going to be a vertical divider here. So on this cage I'm going to start with a U shape going in front, a side, and then the back. So I'll put on the back right now. And now that we've got a U shape going, this is the best time to put in the floor and the top. To get the floor with only one person in place, I usually put a couple of screws in the holes first to support it. So I'm going to put a couple screws right here, and maybe just for a little bit of help I'll put one here and maybe one here too. What I'm going to do is rest this floor. This is your aluminum metal floor. I'm going to rest it on all of those bolts. And now I can come back and go over some of these holes one by one and put the actual screw into the floor. If you have a partner or somebody that can help you, it might be a little easier. But this is a way that one person can actually do it themselves. I'm going to go over to the side and get those two out. So that one out. And it lowers the floor just enough that I can put the screw back in. I'll take out the ones I put in the back. Now the floor drops down just a little bit. So I've got screws in on almost all of the holes. And we're going to do the same for the top. We'll put some some bolts in the holes. And we'll put that top panel in place, resting on the bolts. Again, if you have a partner, it makes it a little bit simpler. And I'll tighten all of these. And then the top and the floor have kind of held the cage into a square position. We're going to slide, yours has that special floor underneath the wire floor, so we'll slide that in right now. no real need to put any bolts in because it's flat on the floor, so it's going to be in position the minute we start bolting. And I think I'm going to do that off camera. Okay, so I finished fitting all the bolts around the three sides on that bottom floor. This cage is just about done, but this cage is a little different from the other cage that you purchased separately. This one is a double wide, so instead of having a side panel along here, you're going to have a vertical divider panel in between these two. So in a minute we're going to extend this cage another 5 feet. But in the meantime, I wanted to show you the stand. The stand that we put together before is a basic triple stand, and I've color coded this one with green. This one was made after I made the other stands and when you ordered your third cage, so that I know that this stand will fit the cage that's marked in green too. So all the green panels of all the cages and all the green on these stands go together. We're going to move this out of the way though for a minute. Your double stand I marked in red, but putting it together is pretty much the same way. You're going to have a wider, a narrower, and a wider section that go together. The narrower section still has those threads on both sides, so that the wide one is going to bolt to the narrow one, and the wide one is going to bolt to the narrow one. I've already done that on the first half. The only difference now is that where these two come together, I also had to make them bolt together. So you'll see a thread on one of these and holes on the other one. So I'm going to continue from where I left off. I was bolting these two together, and I'm going to go ahead and bolt these together. And for the sake of the video, I'll just do the fronts right now. So we're bolting the wider one to the middle one, and we're bolting this wider one to the middle one, which is a little bit narrower. I won't do the backs right now, but what I want to show you is once you have that set of three and this set of three, where they come together, you can have a thread and a hole, and they get bolted. The two different sands get bolted together. So actually right now we have 6 pieces bolted together. We have a wider one, a narrower one, and a wider one. And then another wider one, a narrower one, and another wider one. Now off camera I'm going to go ahead and bolt the back side together, and then we're going to lift your first half of the cage onto this, and I'm going to continue with the video. Be right back. Okay, we put the pegs in, we put them in the 4 corners of each of these triple stands, and we put them in the middle of the front, just like on the other video that I showed you. The middle front is going to be on the middle of the 3 sections. Not on the outside, but on the middle. So we've got them all set up, ready to go. We're going to lift the cage into place now. Okay, so we've got the cage on. You notice that it might take a little bit of pounding here or there just to get everything lined up, because you've got all one panel here and you've got 3 separate ones on the stand. That sometimes causes just a little tiny bit of difference. But it's on there now. I'm going to open the door and attach that vertical divider to the front panel. This vertical divider has to be attached to the front panel now. Okay, so we put the top on now. Aaron's finishing the bolts all the way around, and the two halves are bolted to each other, the floors are bolted to each other, the top is bolted to each other, and all that will be left is to slide the trays on top of that solid floor and into place. You may have noticed that we are using a tool to drill all the holes, and it makes it a lot faster. You can get this little 4mm hex head bit to go in any cordless drill at the local hardware store. It's just a couple of dollars. We do so many cages that it makes it go so much quicker. And I realize you have an Allen wrench that it will be fine, but it will be a little bit tedious. So if you are a handy person, wanted to use a cordless drill, just make sure the torque is on low. Torque means that when you're done drilling, it doesn't keep on drilling. Because if we were to keep on drilling, that screw would go not only into the thread, but all the way through the plastic and keep on going. That's more like, on my drill, it's all the way one way, and that means it doesn't stop when it's gotten to the end. It just keeps on going. So you want to turn that down so that it stops. And I'm going to hold on to it to show you it's not turning because it fills the resistance just enough. Good luck.